What's up, dog?
Not much, Benny. How you been?
Oh, you know me. I'm chilling.
Yes, sir.
You just went down to Philly to do that show. I sent you on down.
I did. I went down to Philadelphia to do a show. My good friend Stevie Beck. You did set us up. Thank you so much.
Yep.
It was. I'd never been to Philly
End of the
before.
podcast. Just wanted to be like, and by the way,
Yeah, just you being like, and look how I'm putting the young black fellas on. Just up here, just like, I love my colored comedian. Verbatim, that was the thing you said.
I said that off mic. Yeah. Yep. I was thinking about running a show called CC Comedy.
You just don't clarify what it means.
Oh, okay, so I'm not gonna say yeah.
Like, everybody else is like, oh, it's closed caption. And you're like, yes, and
It's comedy scene with a C.
KK comedy, comedy scene with the K's.
Comedy club, yeah. Okay. Kooky Comedy Club.
I've been to my fair share of the Kooky comedy clubs.
Oh, sure, yeah. I did it. One of the first mics I did when I was here was horrible. It was all like white guys, and one of the people did like a. It was right after COVID, and he did like a me Chinese me. It was me Chinese, me play joke, me put fentanyl in your Coke was the joke.
Did it go over well?
And the crowd laughed, and I was like, okay, I'm not coming back here again. It wasn't an audience. It was a bunch of like.
Oh, so
open mic comedians who were
peers there were bad people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm very fortunate that like I would like go to like some mics that were like terrible when I first got here, but I feel like the worst mics I've ever been to were still like back in Kansas City.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, like there was like
how was the Kansas City scene actually?
It's pretty good.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That makes
like
sense.
we have a festival, the Fountain City Comedy Festival. Submissions just open. Does
it get like a good draw from? Like I imagine Kansas City is probably like some degree of if you're funny within like a 200-mile radius. I don't know.
So the only issue that it runs into is that there's like 5 cities that are all kind of like that. So like if you're like funny in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest, you can go to Omaha, you can go to Kansas City, you can go to St. Louis, you can go to Des Moines, you can go to Tulsa. So like because there's like 5 places you can go, I think that like some of the talent's diluted. Like if St. Louis didn't exist or Kansas City didn't exist, one of those cities would be popping because both those cities are like really good comedy scenes. But like the fact they're split in 2 is like the difference between like them being Nashville and them being where they are.
When you're in Kansas City, is it easy to hop over to those other ones to do spots, or is it like disparate, kind of disconnected scenes, or what's the?
So they should be more connected. It's like a 3-hour drive to St. Louis. It's like a 3.5-hour drive to Des Moines. All of them are like 3-hour drives from each other. Like
we need high-speed rail just so comedians can do 5-minute spots.
Dude, I wish.
For trick tickets.
This is a running thing that we want because like if you can get to St. Louis in like an hour, we would do it all the time.
Oh yeah,
and like vice versa.
It's so funny in my mind that like imagine like taking high-speed rail like a few hundred miles, bombing. Having to pay for a drink ticket, like bombing for 3 minutes, and then like getting back on the fastest train.
I mean, that's the thing. You just do that, except you have to drive instead, and that's so much worse.
Oh, that's true. It's the same, but
I did the St. Louis funniest person competition when I was like a year into comedy, and I like ate such a bag of dicks on it, and then I had to drive in the middle of the night 3 hours home with just thinking about my actions.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's devastating.
What's one of the here's a classic comedy question, but I am curious about like the first time you bombed, as opposed to not the hardest, but do you remember like how you reacted the first time? Yeah.
So the first time I really bombed, I didn't bomb for like the first like 3 months I did comedy.
Oh sure, yeah, like, you got that joie de comedy.
Yeah, I mean like the way I started was like. I was doing mock trial, and like my coach he'd gone to a mic, and he was like, everybody I saw at this mic was awful. So if you went and just weren't awful, you'd be pretty good. And he was so right.
We say mock trial. Is that like a club in? I forget what that is.
I was like in college, and like it's like potentially future lawyers pretending to be fake lawyers.
What'd you go to school for?
Philosophy.
Oh, cool. Okay, I was wondering if you were like a lawyer or something.
I was pre-law for a while. I thought I was gonna be a lawyer.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I did that as like a speaking activity. It's like a really like half of it's acting, the other part is like debating. So it's like a fun activity. I think it does help a little bit with like comedy stuff.
No, it makes complete sense. Yeah,
yeah,
you have to.
Stuff.
I guess being litigious or being very careful with your words and the ideas and like that kind of thing. I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see you. Yeah. You're very clear with the ideas. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like, so he tells me that like the people are like terrible, and I was like, well, I can be better than terrible, and I was right. I could be better than terrible, but that only works at a mic. Then I finally got on. I did my like first real show. It was at this place called Clint's Comedy Stop in Kansas City. I invited my entire family because I was like, I'm gonna make it. This is gonna be the one that blows me up. And I was so fucking terrible. Like I was like bombing, and I knew I was bombing because I'd seen it happen to other people, and I was like, I didn't have the skill set to fix it. Like I'd seen other people fix it, and I was like, oh, I can't. I don't know how to dig out of this. And then I just had to sit next to my family while I watched the rest of the show, and they laughed, and I was like, oh, so it wasn't the audience. Like it was all me. It was just how I was doing something wrong. And it felt painful, but like kind of inspiring too. Like for a while, I was like, "Man, this shit's easy." Then as soon as I realized it wasn't, I was like, "Now it's more fun."
It's kind of nice, yeah. Like having an actual challenge or whatever, yeah.
No, yeah, it's like when you see somebody die and you live to the fullest. Except you were the one who died in this metaphor.
It's like you see somebody die and then you experience death, and you finally also, and you're like, "Oh,
yeah." It's like surviving a car crash.
Oh,
it's exactly like surviving a car crash. No metaphor. Bombing on stage is probably worse than surviving a car.
Sorry. No, I was going to jump in and go, you know how open mic comedians will date each other? That's like when people have a car crash fetish.
People have car crash fetishes?
Oh, yeah. I think it's like or I don't know if people do truly, but I think that's the premise of like of a famous movie. I think that might be. Is that what Crash is? I've never seen. I don't watch movies. Sorry for anybody that has seen and knows better. I believe that's a famous idea.
Let's talk about Crash. I've never seen it. That's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
I don't know, dude. I haven't seen it. I think that's Nightcrawler.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. I was thinking of Nightcrawler. Oh no, Crash, the one with Ryan Reynolds, right?
Dude, you're thinking of Drive?
Oh no, Crash, the one with Paul Walker, right?
Oh, well, you're doing a bit.
No, now I am. I was the first time I was just the first two times I was just wrong. The third time I was running a bit.
I do like the idea of like having a car crash fetish and going to see Fast and Furious is like edging for you because they never. I don't know if they crash. I haven't seen.
Well, they survive.
Those either. Okay.
Well, you ever seen Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift?
No, I haven't seen any of them. Yeah, but I'm familiar with the idea of Tokyo drifting because that's in the culture.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty rad. Like there's a car crash where a guy dies, and then like 10 years later they make a movie where they reference it. I think that's the point where I like got out because my dad was into it.
Are they? I mean, I heard they're good, but I just haven't seen.
They're good bad movies. Like they're movies that are they understand what they are.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think famously, I think like Roger Ebert gave like the Fast and Furious movies like one of the highest scores he could give it, and people were like, what? And he was like, well, I'm rating it I'm not rating it based on like some overall objective idea of like good movie. I'm rating it subjectively based on if you went to see this for the intended idea, would it give you what you want?
No, exactly. Like if. You can go to a movie and get a lot of things out of it, but if a movie is just trying to be a good ass time and it is a good ass time, that's a win. Like that's how I judge like everything. Like if I go to something to try to be sad and it makes me happy or it doesn't make me feel anything, I'm like, this sucks. If I go into it and I get what I wanted out of it, I'm like, well, that's a dub. Do you always get that?
Do you go into movies knowing the emotional range you're looking for?
Yes.
Interesting.
So I think part of it's like I don't watch that many movies, so if I'm gonna watch a movie, I gotta know what I'm getting.
Okay.
I want to say over the last like 5 years, I've seen maybe 30 movies, and that is not an exaggeration.
Oh, dude, I'm similar. I haven't seen that many movies.
Yeah.
That's like that's roughly the same as me. Yeah, that's cool. I've talked about this multiple times, so they know if they're repeat guests. They probably don't know because they're probably just watching because they saw you and they have no idea who I am.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back. This is my guest this week. and by week I mean now I'm doing the podcast every whenever the fuck month and a half or whatever. Dorian DeBose, he's a comedian, very funny guy.
Shucks. Oh, thank you.
You're crushing it, dude.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I remember I watched like John Wick 2 without having seen John Wick 1. I was like, this.
Yeah.
So John Wick 2 it's a great movie, great film. I don't have much to judge off of, but it's a great film.
Nice.
So I watched that and I was like, man, I should get really into movies. So I watched the movie In Bruges, and I love In Bruges. It's a great movie. But it's like it ends on a really weird emotional note.
I don't know it.
Oh man, so like the main character, it's like the entire. This isn't a spoiler. The theme of the movie is like sometimes it's too late to seek redemption.
Oh,
I was like, after just watching John Wick and then seeing that, I was like, I remember why I don't watch movies. Sometimes they make you feel bad.
You're going to the movie specifically like, oh, I can't wait to feel the redemption.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, look at him, he's getting better. Then he dies. I'm like, this is bullshit. I didn't sign up.
Spoilers.
For this. The movie came out in 1996.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen. Well, you just saw it.
Nah, man, I'm being pretentious about it.
You start saying the word film.
Yeah, In Bruges cinema.
You see the latest Dune film?
The most recent movie I saw is I watched Coco for like the 5th time.
Coco?
Yeah. You seen Coco?
I think I did. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No.
Do you have living grandparents?
I've got a mix. Yeah, three are dead, one's alive.
Yeah, I got 2 alive. 1 possible.
I guess maybe I saw it and was hoping for the afterlife to be different than regular life in some more interesting way. I don't know.
I can see that, how they're just like
it's just life
kind of
too. Yeah. But
like you can die a second time. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know.
In fact, you can die a second time. For the real Coco heads out there, like at the end of the movie, like the main character's like grandma dies, and that shows her coming back to visit on Dia de los Muertos, and she's like still old as like a skeleton, and it like most recent rewatch made me upset. I was like,
you should be like
everybody else is in their prime. Everybody else is like young and like a hot skeleton, and here's this like 150-year-old woman who's like looking at her young and hot still dad, being like, "Papa," it's like, this is bullshit. Let her cook. Let her be a hot skeleton.
You should be able. I guess you should be able to pick. Like, you should be able to shape shift or appear how you would
if wish. I die when I'm 70, I don't want to be stuck at 70. If that's the case, I'm going to kill myself at 35. Like, you gotta let me pick. You can't just stick somebody in like a really shitty ghost body.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do not believe in ghosts.
Oh, neither do I. So we don't have to go down that.
I've seen one. I have seen ghosts.
But you don't believe in them?
No.
But you've seen one?
Yes.
Care to elaborate?
I've seen photographic proof of ghosts. In a picture I've taken.
Well,
so it was my fault.
How do we square? What?
So there's this haunted, quote unquote, building in Manitoba Springs, Colorado. And like when I was a kid, we went there. My mom was like, "Be respectful. This place is haunted." And like the first words out of my mouth were, "I'm not afraid of no ghost." And I shit you not, every picture of me in Manitoba Springs has an orb in it. Every picture of my mom and sister is fine. Every picture of me has ghost in it.
Wow.
And I'm like, there's probably something else happening, but also that's pretty compelling. If I wasn't committed to not believing in ghosts, that would get me.
No, I completely agree. Well, I mean, so you don't believe generally for the reasons of reason, etc. But it's like a cool, So I've got a photo of me as in like a Halloween costume as a kid, and in the background is essentially like this blurred, translucent figure of like clearly like clothing like moving in this like sort of terrifying way, and it's like that to me is my ghost photo. However, also don't believe in ghosts. Pretty clearly probably like a product of somebody walking too quickly and it's like an old camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, we could have just both experienced the paranormal and we're both in denial about it.
Well, I guess to me, the paranormal, if there's a possible reasonable explanation, then it's not paranormal, right? Like,
go with it.
Yeah. If I had remembered a fucking ghost, then I would believe in ghosts. But the fact that a photo is kind of blurry is not enough evidence. You know what I mean?
Silly.
Yeah.
Do you believe in any paranormal stuff?
No.
Any supernatural? Do you believe in aliens?
I believe in aliens, but
I believe in aliens that have visited us.
Oh, I would say that is I would say that's possible, but deeply unlikely.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, one thing is that some people. Okay, so this is a cool idea. You know how like in outer space it's like much colder or whatever. Yeah. It didn't used to be. So not so Big Bang extremely hot. Now it's cold, but there was a whole period of time when it was like lukewarm for like millions of years. Like it went through every temperature between Big Bang and insane heat to now. Yeah. And that process took time. So there was a time when the conditions for life were right in outer space itself.
Oh.
And so like every asteroid that had water could have harbored life at some point. And so I saw like a Curse Gazette video, like YouTube video about this, where it's basically like the sequence of the genome for animals has a very clear, predictable pattern that goes backwards a certain amount of time on an exponential curve. But when you get back to the beginning of Earth or like beginning of life on Earth, it like weirdly like doesn't go back far enough. But around a similar time, it was warm enough in the universe overall. So life in general on Earth and in many other places could have started on asteroids.
Yeah, then, like we hit Earth and then like we evolved from there.
Yeah, sorry.
Cool
that was a little.
No, I like that.
Welcome to my comedy podcast.
Nah, dude, we're spitting up here.
We're spitting up here.
Yeah, we're telling truths. We're making you think out there.
Yeah.
This is a truth-telling podcast.
I went through the whole explanation kind of from the heat first, just to be like, because if you start with like we might have come from asteroids, that sounds like kind of crazy.
No, yeah.
But if you start with
like the fact that like the entire universe was like a life soup.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't that neat?
Yeah, it is neat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've
life soup.
I've been thinking a bit about well, I do like conspiracy theories.
Oh sure.
I like. I'm going to say something that's anti-religious, and I'm sorry to people who are religious. I've been thinking about like black like nationalist like spirituality a little bit because I find it like insane, like the idea that like you know about Yakub.
Oh yeah, of course, the creator of white people.
Yeah, your Lord and Savior.
Oh, Daddy, I call him.
I've been thinking a lot about like Yakub and like how all of that lore came from like the 1930s, and like the fact that there are like religions that people follow and believe in that like are like only a few generations old is like insane to me. Like
Mormonism,
Scientology, like. The ones that I'm like, it's like so clearly false, but like people really go for it. I'm like, this is kind of fun. Like I was thinking, like the fact that like Mormonism had to like revise its thoughts on like black people in like the 1970s. They were gonna stop receiving federal funding. Yeah, that was
really,
dude. Like they were like black people are the spawn of demons, not allowed into BYU, and like the government was like, actually, that's like racism, and we can't fund your school if you're gonna do that. And like, we just heard from God, black people are cool now. What? That's crazy.
Wait, they thought black people were the spawn of demons, like in like textually.
There's like a whole ordeal about it. You can look this up. I know I can't. I know I don't have every single detail because I just learned enough to call Mormon people racist, and that was enough for me. I can cook from there.
And here's a leap idea. Let's say you think that black people are the spawn of demons. That also implies, if to be racist in this sense, that also implies that you think demons are bad. Now, sorry.
Let them cook.
So I like the idea that they still think that, but have revised that in some. They're like, but also demons are technically fallen angels.
Sometimes demons are good at basketball, and we have to let them to BYU. Sometimes
I didn't cook that much, but I was the idea is like, okay, even if you think black people are spawned of demons, the implicit issue with that is that you think demons are bad.
Yeah.
As you know what I mean? Well, what are white people from? The spawn of frogs or angels, I guess?
Well, they were created in God's image, according to Mormonism.
Hmm.
Yeah, God who was from Utah, as we all know.
Black people are... Sorry, I like the idea that black people are demon spawn is awesome.
Dude,
it's bad and it's racist, but it's a cool mental image.
Like Christianity, it does go fucking hard.
Like they like demons laid black people eggs? Like what do they mean they demon spawn? What does that mean?
I think we're
like
just,
a frog?
We just like emerged from like humans, and I think we just emerged from them. I think
that's
like,
cool. Yeah. Like an orc.
A little bit, like we had.
Are you like in what sense are black people spawning from demons? Like they're like the demon is there, and they're like, ugh! And they're like
like birth.
Like, oh, okay. Birth.
Okay. Black people emerge from demons like the fucking face hugger out of somebody's chest.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's not that. I see what you mean.
I was confused, but I didn't realize that apparently demons have pussies. of which they're able to give birth to races.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Like they're fallen angels, like biblically accurate angels too. That means they have like 17 of them.
Wait, how? There's 17 pussies.
Oh my! I was thinking about the Book of Job recently.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It's like, so like the fact that like he turned like his like daughter into like a pillar of salt, like God turned like Job's daughter into a pillar of salt so they wouldn't like sexually assault her. I think that's like they were like gonna sexually assault biblically accurate angels. The dudes with like who were just like 7 concentric circles with eyes. I don't think a pillar of salt's gonna deter these monsters. I think these guys are. You should like also like. Why would you turn her into a pillar of salt? You can just smite the guys.
Oh yeah, just turn them into salt.
Yeah, like and then like because now Job is like, oh, thank God I don't have to watch my daughter be defiled because she's dead. You killed my entire family. And he
weird story.
God's loyalist soldier. Yeah, the Old Testament's fun.
Oh yeah, weird stuff.
Yeah, a lot of weird stuff.
I like. I'm sorry for keep doing the demon spawn thing, but bring it back to Yakub. I like the idea of a guy who believes both. He believes that black people are demon spawn, but also that white people were made in a lab.
Black woman is real life.
Yeah.
Like we were spawned from demons, then we made white people.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're getting towards the truth.
Dude, maybe we shouldn't speculate in this space. But do they like account for other groups of people? Like, where do the Mormons think like Native American people came from? Is that like
I don't know. I don't think they thought that far either. Like if you look into their background, it's like crazy. Like they were like the promised land's in like Indiana, and then Indiana's like, no, get the fuck out of here. So they kicked them out, and they went to Missouri, and like the promised land is in Missouri, and they kicked them out, so they went to Utah, and they're like, the promised land's now in Utah. Like I don't think
home is where the heart is.
Yeah, they're kind of playing it by ear. Home is where the Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
They're playing it by ear, and like we just have to kind of like deal with it.
I like the idea that religious texts can be changed by legal pressure. Like that is so neat.
Yeah, I mean, like it's happened before, and it's gonna happen again. I mean, they edited like even the King James Bible is like they took out books that are like there's like a lot of actual anti-authoritarian stuff that was originally in the Bible that they had to take out because like if you're a king who believes in Christianity, you don't want the part that's like and the king is bad and gay.
Oh wait, is that what's in the what did they take out?
I know there's like entire books that like you can't get access to more that are either held at the Vatican or like there are books that like our interpretation is like not as accurate. Like I know they took out the word tyrant specifically.
Really?
Yeah, like I forget what's the like famous quote that like they changed so it just like references like just like generic powerful people, but it used to say specifically tyrant. And they took it out because they're like, we don't want this to be weaponized against like the king.
Wow, is that so? King James Bible is that the one where it's like King James is like let's clean this up a bit, or was that the?
Yeah, I mean, there's been various
we're
attempts.
guessing.
Like people have edited. There's like all different sorts of Bibles.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like a billion of
I
them.
want to make my own.
We can.
The Benny Bible. Yeah. The Benny and Dorian Bible, or the other way around, the Dorian and Benny.
We're all demons in it.
Everybody's demon spawn. Yeah.
We're spending so much time on demon physiology. You're gonna lose your fucking mind. We're gonna spend as much time on demon physiology as J.R.R. Tolkien spent on elven languages.
I like that. I do like the idea that, like, okay, so I was thinking of J.K. Rowling for a moment when she like retroactively talks about like she's like, oh, by the way, there's like a Jewish person at Hogwarts.
Oh, Anthony Goldstein.
Yeah, yeah, that. But it's like how God every once in a while tells the Pope something new about the Bible.
Yeah,
he's like, actually, gay's okay. They were gay. They were, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's doing J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think part of why.
Sorry.
Do you think you're a spiritual person?
No, I'm not spiritual. I'm not
complete atheist.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Are you?
I'd say I'm more agnostic than anything.
I do have a photo of an elf in the background of my a whole gnome village.
I went to a church one time and I said, I don't believe in no God. Next thing I know, there was a picture of a God in every picture I took. It's like crazy.
I started levitating.
Yeah, and
my skin was on fire.
He was like in the background and really far at first, and every picture you took, he was closer to me. It's still happening. He's like one on next to my shoulder next time.
I'm sorry, where were you going before I?
Where was I going? Somewhere.
You asked if I was spiritual, but you were about to go.
Yeah. I think my thought on it is like, I feel like every religion ultimately boils down to, like, as far as its fundamental teachings, you should probably be a good person. Like, be kind to others, be empathetic. And from that perspective, I'm like, if one of them is right, I think as long as you were like a good and gentle person, that's all they would have ever wanted from you. I think that, like, the idea you have to really be a true believer in any specific religion is where I push back on them. Because, like, as long as you're being gentle and kind, I think that's, like, the best a man can be.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And by a man, we mean the
general humanity. No, I mean men. I'm taking a hard stance on only biological men get into Christian heaven. No women, no femmes, all masked. It's like a fucking gay mag cover spread. You gotta have a lot of chest hair in my heaven. Every man in heaven's hung like a horse. They're all in love with me.
It's in your act, so I am curious about the sexuality of Dorian DeBose.
The way I describe it is I'm a gold star bisexual, which means I'm a whore, and I just get around.
Nice, hell yeah!
I'm just like a big old slut.
Sick, dude. That's what's up.
Yeah, I would say I'm probably like 65. 35 as far as like attraction to women, attraction to men, where it's like I feel like I'm attracted to like almost every woman, and I feel like I'm attracted to like a good chunk of men, but I also find men like difficult in their own way, because like they're slutty, but they're also so weird about everything. Like a thing that happens to me a good amount of times, I'll get hit up by like men on the DL, like men who are like they're interested in like hooking up, but like they're not out. And I usually turn those down because I'm like, that's the demographic that would kill you. Because like they're not comfortable with their own sexuality, and like they're gonna exact that on you, and it's like I don't want that.
Oh yeah, damn.
Yeah, so like there's like that kind of stuff. There's like also just general men shittiness. Like the kind that like I would hear my like women friends talk about, and I'd be like, oh, that sounds bad. Then you experience, and you're like, oh, it's so much worse.
Oh my goodness.
At the kind where you're just like, oh, I'm actually not interested in hooking up, and you're like, well, you're fat and ugly anyway. And I was like, man, you hit me up.
Yeah.
Man, you were talking to me. I didn't ask for this. I didn't. And what if you're right and I am fat and ugly, then why did you want to kiss me? America, why'd you want to kiss me if I'm so fat and ugly?
Name of the episode.
Joe Biden, riddle me this.
I technically came out as bi a while ago, but I never act on it because I don't know if how true. My thought is that I think my percentage is more skewed.
Yeah.
And that here's a very funny thought that I've noticed is that the more beers I have, the gayer I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the thought is, I don't, because the idea is that beer releases inhibitions.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not like a very inhibited person.
Yeah.
Mentally, personally. So I am thinking that there is some. I'm like, is that the case? I should go to therapy. But I don't know.
I don't know. I think beer gets you loosened up, and you can like start addressing like some of your thoughts more. Like maybe like when you're sober, you're like thinking, yeah, my friend has good shoulders. Like he has a nice pair of abs. And like when you're drunk, you're like, and I should lick them.
I guess yeah. What also is like a thought of like, I am attracted to specific men, even sober. There is like still there's like a slim subset, I'd say.
Yeah.
That I am like, okay, that guy. You know what I mean?
The only famous person you can give me an example of. Who you say is the type. Think on it.
I'm thinking on it. Not off the top of my head.
That's fair.
And I'm not and I did think on it, but I couldn't
No,
immediately.
that's fair. I could name like 12.
Want to give one? Want to manifest a little?
I've been thinking a lot, and I go back and forth on this. Timothy Chalamet. I know it's like cliche, because like I didn't want to be attracted to him. I didn't. It's not what I. It's not what I wanted for me. I didn't. I think he's like too impish in his own sense, and kind of like very much so built like an elf, and like that's not usually what I like. And also like it's so pastiche to be like attracted to like such a handsome man, but at the same time like I can see it working for me. Like it's every time I like start talking shit about it, and I look at his face and I was like, I can't be mad at that face. Can't be mad at those lips, those eyes.
Yeah, and then he rejects you, and you're like, I don't even want to get with you, little lizard looking at.
You're so fat and ugly, Timothy Chalamet. Just ripped in.
Nobody likes your chocolate. What was I thinking? I'm definitely more attracted to, I guess, roughly the idea of a twink or more feminized men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when gay men present more in that way, I'm more into
fair.
it. Yeah.
I remember.
I have asked out men before, but
did they say yes?
No. But that's also because I like keep that so close to my chest that it's like, I think when I ask men out, it's sort of like I think it's a bit more like out of nowhere and random.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it feels a little, but it's not something
they're surprised by it.
Yeah. Or I haven't like fully done my research on their sexuality. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh man, that's okay. There's been a couple times where I've been talking to like an undeniably gay man who doesn't know it yet. Oh man, like there's a guy who I knew back in the day who is like, listen, I've had gay sex. I've kissed men.
That don't mean nothing.
The gayest man I ever met. This guy, like so undeniably gay. And like one time, like a friend of mine like asked him, like, so do you have like a boyfriend? Like, like he just like he was like, I'm not gay. And he was like so he's like so vehement about not being gay. It's like crazy. And I was like, we'll circle back in like 5 years because there's no way. And like sometimes I'm just like, oh, you're right. That's us enforcing like an unjust standard and like reading something that's not in. In most cases, I'm like, yes, that's not fair for us to make that assumption. In his case, I'm like, no, he just hadn't.
Yeah. It's also like, I mean, yeah, men can be any sort of person and do any sort of thing.
But
but then it's also like
you can't do every single gay thing and not.
Yeah, you can't have a lot. You can't continuously enjoy gay sex and not be in some sense at least
just crazy gay.
Fascinating religion and bad stuff.
We talk about gay sex. We talk about religion because we're talking about the truth.
And demons are all gay.
Demons are all gay and black.
And well, are the demons themselves black, or they're spawning black people?
The demons are all.
Are the demons?
No, the demons are all Asian. And they just spawn black people. Oh yeah, Korean Jesus was actually. Oh man, this is. I tell my friends all the time we should just get together and come up with like a bad religion, and I think this might be the one. That the Asian devils give birth to the black race.
Yeah. And that's the name of the episode, folks. My God.
Yeah. Fun little riff.
Biblically accurate angels is like a weird, interesting idea where I'm like, how does it describe them in the Bible? Does it describe them like that?
So I know like the famous depiction that like people use for like biblically accurate angels is
the
like,
eyes everywhere.
Yeah, it's like the eyes everywhere around like 3 concentric circles. And like, but still has like wings and it like floats. And like, if you look at it too long, it's like
and a
blinding
hog.
Light. Yeah,
and a big thick hog.
Yeah, it's also hung.
Yeah.
Also hung and it's floating.
3 concentric circumcision rings. Sorry.
Yeah, the little Prince Charles, Prince Albert. One of
Is that a haircut type? What do you mean by that? I'm trying. I
like
laughed because I thought I understood. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking like for some reason I thought you meant like shaved in some way. But
I would just say true.
Why is that called the Prince Albert? Did he have that? Did he have like a penis ring?
I knew a guy who had one. Like that was crazy. Like he would like show it and like we asked him like, well, how was the experience? He's like, actually, it wasn't worth it. Apparently, like number one, it hurts as much as you would think. Like it's like a devastating amount of pain, and it's also for so much longer than you would think.
That seems like one of the worst decisions you could make.
And he's like, apparently it took like 6 months to like heal.
Oh my God.
Not like 6 months to be like completely fine.
Oh,
like
wow.
6 months just to not be in a lot of pain.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't infected. It was just like you have your penis pierced. And we're like, but it looks cool. And he's like, yeah, sometimes.
Wait, so okay, do you have piercings at all?
I do not.
Okay, so I've got my ears pierced, and I want to do my eyebrow, but one thing I like, you do have to like do like salt water and like that kind of stuff. So I'm like imagining like this guy's got to be like dipping his penis in salt water or putting like
he's squirting hydrogen peroxide. Man. He's like,
oh God, dude,
there's so much stuff you have to do to take care of a piercing. Now imagine that just in a very sensitive area.
I've never seen anybody get their balls pierced. I imagine that would like, oh man, that hurts to even think about.
It does.
I mean, scrotum is different, but I mean like, scrotum would make sense, possibly.
Oh, I don't think you can pierce the actual ball. I've never seen a scrotum piercing.
You know, that's what I was saying, the actual ball. The actual ball hurts my mind to think about.
I think that would cause an actual health problem.
I have a new joke that I've been...
Yeah, about ball piercings?
Well, it's about... Here, you want to hear a joke? I'll tell you
I'll hear it.
It's maybe not, I don't know how new it is, actually. But anyway, I would eat almost any sort of weird exotic food, except for animals' testicles. Because whenever, like, I imagine, like, eating, like, bull's testicles, I get this, like, visceral sensation as if I'd be getting, like, my own testicles eaten. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can never eat them, but shit, I'd suck on them a little, though.
I think I heard that one earlier. I love that.
Thank you. Well, you know, yeah, so just...
Give him a little lap.
Yeah, like an ice cream cone. But, you know, I mean, definitely like a... yeah, no, it's the sense... Give me the heebs-the-jeepsies.
Yeah, and I get that about, like, anywhere I can get possibly pierced. Like, I don't want my ears pierced. I think it would look cool,
really?
But, like...
It feels fine. It feels like nothing.
I think I would have had it done when I was a kid.
Okay.
When I was like more willing to tolerate pain. Like,
it's not that. It's like a shot or less. Yeah.
I don't even like getting shots.
Ah, sure. Yeah.
That's a lot. I'm on Ozempic. I stabbed myself literally yesterday.
For Ozempic?
Yeah.
You didn't know there was a shot. You have to.
No, yeah, you gotta give yourself a shot like right here.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like.
I thought it was like a pill or something.
Like right here. There's like a lot of weight loss pills.
Wait, let me get you near the mic.
Yeah,
sorry. You can move this if you want. By the way, if you want.
There is like a lot of weight loss pills. I just don't. I don't know. Like at the time I went to the doctor, giving Ozempic was like the hot thing. Yeah, they love you.
Dorian's the latest Hollywood celeb.
Dude, can you tell by my rocking hard abs, my sexy body, how guys on Grindr are being really cool about my body?
How is Grindr, by the way?
It's awful. It's hell. It's one of the worst things that's ever been existed.
That makes sense.
It should be abolished. Everybody on it should be in jail.
How's the UI? Like how's the actual app? You want to pull it up?
I'm gonna pull it up. So the actual here's the thing. The interface is so good and so navigable. They've had to make it worse multiple times.
They've had to make it worse
because like. So I just realized I cannot show you what Grindr looks like because you can see people's faces and that's insane.
Oh yeah.
But
I think the logo is like a mask.
Yeah, the logo is like a mask. Like,
I don't like that.
No, yeah, it's an app for creeps and perverts, fellas. And
slide into the DMs.
Yeah, I'll listen. But like, so it used to be you can just hop on Grindr, and number one, it's a grid, right? Like you can just see.
Oh, it's a grid.
It's a grid. It's not like you don't swipe. It's like you can just see like everybody in like your vicinity. Like you can see like the 50 closest people on Grindr to you. And it used to be that you can sort by like a bunch of different categories, so you can get like if I saw somebody up in like let's say Upper East Side and they're like way off my grid. Number one, like there's an explore feature where you can like just set your location somewhere else, and like you can see who's around there. And if you didn't want to do that, you didn't know exactly where they were, but you like knew maybe like some other detail about them, you can like get like so specific with either like your tags or like you can sort it down to like a specific height. If you like, I know this guy's 5'9", I'm only looking for 5'9" dudes. I'm looking for 5'9", 37-year-old dudes.
And you just like walk around the streets until you're like, oh, he's near.
Yeah, like you can literally just like scroll through and like you could get that specific, and they had to be like, all right, this is too powerful. This is like the Navy level gaydar. We need this. So, like for that reason, like they had to make the interface like a little bit less easy to navigate.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but like it's also like because like you don't have to show your face, and you also don't have to engage with anybody before you send a picture, right? You don't have to send a word. You can just send a picture of your penis, your asshole, to anybody. And that's awful.
I actually don't know if you can send photos on the other apps at all. I think that's like actually like turned off entirely.
No, you can't send photos. You can't send photos on Tinder. You can't send photos on Hinge. Why? Because people are fucking monsters. Like even like I used to be on the app Whisper because I'm a whore, and the app Whisper.
Never heard of that one.
It's like an anonymous app where you just like post like random like thoughts and chats. But a lot of people used to use Whisper to like either find drugs or like sex. On the app Whisper, before you could send a picture, you had to send like 4 or 5 messages back and forth with the person. So you could be a pervert about it, but they would have also had to at least acknowledge they were talking to you.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's a good system.
It's a good system. That's what Grindr should use. But instead, Grindr's just like, you know what? Open with penis. Maybe it'll work. And what sucks is it does. That is a tried and true method. Like, I think if I tried 100 times messaging, hey, how are you? And I tried 100 times messaging with a straight dick, I would have a way better straight dick success rate.
Well, there's definitely got to be part of the pun on the word curve. There's definitely got to be a curve for a curve for how good. Like, hey, how are you? And your dick happens to fall on the side of better than hey, how are you? But I imagine
100%.
Yeah.
I think there's a like. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure there's like there's a fella out there who just like I'm a talk my way into this. Hey, baby, I'm kind. You want to hear about interests?
I'm trying to listen my way into some dick.
And the other thing is like there's been a few times where people have messaged me on Grindr like trying to hook up, and I've been like, all right, I'm mostly feeling this. I just need to see a picture of your face before I let you in my house.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, nah.
Really?
No way.
Wow.
You will never see my face. And I was like, you're trying to.
It's like, well, you would if you came over.
Suck me off.
It's like no, yeah, dude, I will see your face.
You're not gonna. Like, what if you show up and like I'm just not feeling it. Now you're in my house.
Ha!
Like, what do I gotta do now? I don't know my roommates that well. I can't communicate with them. I need help.
Oh man, you don't know your roommates that well? We don't think
They're
but
all right. It's a newish place.
Okay, not comedians.
Nah, I lived with comedians when I first got to New York, and it did not go well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, now you're chilling. Now you're vibing.
No, I also know people better now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I might try it again.
You were always, the first week bringing around Grindr dates, strangers.
Yeah, and I thought it'd be cool because I did block one of my old roommates on Grindr because he was also on there, and like I think that's
like
why
the nearest person every day. You're like always like nearest active person. And you're like in the other room.
I think that's why our relationship went south because I got on Grindr when I first got to New York. I saw him on Grindr. He was online, and I blocked him immediately. I was like, no, we're not. You live in the house with me. You can't know when I'm being a slut. And I think he interpreted that as me being rude. But I also block everybody I know in person on Grindr.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because like I'd be, I'm moving crazy on that.
Dorian's fucking and sucking.
I'm fucking and sucking.
Yeah.
And you should do the same, America.
And we would expect no less from the spawn of an angel. You didn't know what I was going to say. You didn't know what I was going to say there.
You cut me on my toes. I was like, oh, is he going to go Mormon about this?
For the record, I don't think black people are demon spawn. I think they came out of some sort of tube.
I think the same about white people. I'm right. I have evidence.
What evidence do you have?
I've read. I've seen it. I've done my research.
Why did Dr. Yakub in the scenario where we're not evolved and we're created by something, why are some people gay? Why did Dr. Yakub go, and some of them are going to be and by some, and not that it's a binary of sexuality, but why did he make a
because he was evil.
Okay.
That's like it's like a very it's one of my favorite pieces of the lore. It's not like scientist Yakub. It's like evil scientist. Like he is specified to be a scientist, two evil. Like he cannot not be evil.
I love his head.
Yeah, it's
the giant head.
Ginormous. How he read all the knowledge that they had in like the city, so they had to leave to go create new math. That's like the lore.
I tried to do phrenology on him, but then I went flying backwards.
It's too powerful.
Trying to measure his skull, and I go 30 feet into the air.
Not yet. It's a non-Euclidean space. Is that the one? What's the one where it's like bigger on the inside than it is on the outside?
Something like that. I don't know the name.
Nah, yeah, it's my like
butthole. Folks, non-Euclidean butthole.
Androgynous fellas. I think one of my sexual awakenings was Tilda Swinton.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that like put me on the path I'm on. I think I was watching like Constantine.
I don't know.
Like it's like a DC movie like before they were making like superhero movies, like really. And like he's like a demon hunter and she plays like either God or like an angel or some kind. And like she's like mad androgynous in it, and I was like, this is doing it.
Nice. Mine was probably Lindsay Lohan in the Parent Trap remake.
I can see that.
There's some sort of the idea of the boys and the girls camp pranking each other and all that way, and then also like her losing poker and having to strip and get in the water was like the first time I had was forced as a kid to like imagine girl naked, and I was like, what? That blows my mind. Anyway,
no, I can see that.
Yeah,
Gwen Stefani. The Gwen Stefani.
Tilda Swinton to Gwen Stefani.
I would die if Gwen Stefani ever sees this. I'll fight Blake Shelton. Like for real, I still love you. I saw like I think the music video for the song "Sweet Escape" when I was like 5 or 6. And I didn't even know like about human sexuality, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but I like it.
You like older women.
I don't even know if I like older women. I
don't know.
was like,
Gwen Stefani's
I like. Well, Gwen Stefani's, I guess she's like older now.
But Tilda Swinton. I was looking at Tilda Swinton, and then also you would have been young compared to Gwen Stefani.
Yes, I am young compared to Gwen Stefani, but she was like I think in her late 20s.
Oh sure.
Yeah. Well, she might actually have been in her 30s because she was. I forgot she was like in a whole band in like the 90s.
Avril Lavigne.
Oh. I vaguely remember Avril Lavigne. I remember not being into Pink.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah, I remember like my dad really.
We don't have to litigate which celebs we were horny for.
Gwen Stefani was something special, man.
But it is fun. Yeah, sexual waiting is a funny concept.
Nah, sure. Yeah, it's like crazy that can happen to you when you're like 6 and you're just like watching a person you don't understand sexuality yet, but like something in you just like is different forever.
Yeah. I remember rubbing like my dick on like a table at like school and being like, "This feels great. This rules." And then somebody, like a teacher, told me to stop doing it, and I was like, I was literally like, I was
humping a table.
Yeah, I was humping a table, and this is young too. This is like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And the teacher was like, "Stop," and I was like, "Why?"
I'm having
like,
fun.
"What do you what?" I remember being confused. I was like, because I was like just I was just doing like I was not doing any sort of thing that mattered. You know what I mean?
You're not. I'm not caught in this disruption. You're just jerking off on the table.
I'm just rubbing my penis against the table edge, the desk. Yeah,
that's so funny to me.
There's definitely a few things that like are like that, where it's like doing some sort of sexual thing in nature, like a hot tub, jet on my dick and balls, also.
Yeah,
and going like,
sick.
"All right, this rules." You know what I mean? And then like somebody being like, "Hey, don't do that." You're like, "What? Feel amazing? Like feel amazing? What are you talking about?" I don't know. I was like, why? Literally, why?
Yeah.
And then they don't tell you, and you're like, "Is it bad for the jets?"
The worst thing they could possibly say is they could try to explain it to you, and you know. That's the worst possible feeling to them. And they're like, "You're being a weird sex pervert." And you're like, "Yeah."
I think it's also like it is just a puritanical shame around sex. It's like, you know, I mean, if your kid, like, if I was the adult and I saw a kid doing that, I would go mind my business. I would just let the kid feel good on the. I'm not gonna tell him to stop. I'm not gonna interact in any way. I'm gonna be like, all right, that child is doing their thing, and I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah, especially if they're doing something that's like age appropriate. It's like, they have to get the exploring out of the way, and there's better ways to do it. But like, I'm not gonna make them feel weird about it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I just had a thought.
Nice.
It was a thought. What was it? Oh, when I was 10 or 11, I tried to jerk off like the first time.
Nice.
And I didn't know how to end it. Like, keep in mind, this happens like 3 a.m. because I like stayed up all night so I could watch like the Girls Gone Wild infomercial on like Spike TV. And so it's like 3 a.m. I'm like in my room and I'm like jerking off, and I'm not even hard. I'm not. I don't know. You have to be hard. I'm just jerking off.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I gotta finish this. And so I just like started peeing. I was like, and I started making like coming noises, even though I'm just peeing. We're just like,
I still do that.
Yeah, and then like, my mom like the next day like finds my like piss-soaked pants, and she's like, "Why is there so much pee? Why'd you pee your pants? What is going on? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Mom, relax. It's not pee. It's not pee. I don't even fucking explain. I just tell her it's not pee." And she didn't ask any follow-up questions. She just like, my mom a fucking trooper, man. Like I was being so weird about that. She just really took it.
Oh man, that rules.
Shout out to Quita Jackson. I love you.
That's so funny that like you thought you came.
I really thought I came. I thought I came fucking ropes, dude. I thought I was fucking blasting off. There's a lot. I was a hydrated kid too. Like, I peed a lot on those pants.
I gotta say, coming ropes is such a funny idea. I remember the first time because it's like you get you learn coming, etc. And then at some point, the first time I heard somebody go coming ropes, I was like, one, you know what they're talking about. But two, it's like, yes, one, that does rule. Yeah. And two, it's like, that is the goal, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. It does it feels pretty incredible.
That seems to be the idea.
To have a good one.
What's that?
To have a good one is like, man, that some days I've been having a bad day, then I have like a really productive jerk off session. I'm like, man,
it's all worth it.
It's gonna be all right. What was I so worried about?
Wow, we really got into it with this pod.
Yeah, man. Well, I feel like I've grown.
You've grown in this moment in this.
Yeah. I'm a different man than when I walked in this room.
Oh, nice. I've regressed. I now have weird ideas about where black people are from.
Dude, it would be so funny to like watch your set and just like it'd be like black Hebrew stuff.
I would like to. Yeah. I do race stuff once in a while because I think it's interesting to jump into it.
Yeah.
But I try to do it only if I have a very specific funny idea.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I feel like I see a lot of people who would like tackle race stuff.
Do you know my
stuff?
Sorry, do you know my 20? Do you know my Andrew Jackson on the 20 joke? Harriet Tubman.
No.
You want to hear a joke?
Yes.
They're not going to replace Andrew Jackson on the 20 with Harriet Tubman. So I think they should at least replace Hamilton on the 10 with Black Hamilton.
That's fun.
I'm aware Lin-Manuel Miranda's Puerto Rican. Black Hamilton's an original character of mine that I draw for Tumblr.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. So
funny.
I mean, it's I'm touching on race, but I'm not actually like really doing too much with it. But
I mean, like I've said to people many times, like if you're gonna talk about race, if you're gonna talk about gender, if you're gonna talk about like something that's like really controversial, have real heat behind it. Like I remember I came out to my mom because I was writing really good gay jokes. I was like, Mom, I'm about to tell this crowd in Iowa some really insane shit about myself, and you got to know this. But don't worry, I'm gonna kill. Like if you're a white guy and you're like, I'm about to say something crazy about race, you gotta know. You gotta know. You got a bazooka in your pocket right now. You gotta know you about to just blow this room up.
Can I ask? Do you remember the first time you like crushed, or is that like hard to? Was it like earlier? Was it like after?
The first time I thought I crushed.
First time you thought you crushed, and then maybe also the first time that you actually knew you did.
All right.
If you have that.
The first time I thought I crushed was probably at like a mic when I was like about a month in, where it was like a mic like the first mic where like I thought everybody was like terrible. Also, I want to say I thought people were bad in St. Louis. I misjudged y'all. You have a lot of talent. I still love you, St. Louis. I'm sorry that I was a little dweeb when I was 20. But the heavy anchor mic sometimes sucked shit. Like, so I was there, and like there was like a real audience of like 10 to 5, like 10-ish people, and I was like doing like a good joke, like a joke that had already been working. It was the first time doing a good joke to like a real audience, and I was like, oh, this is fucking, I'm massacring. I'm fucking Dave Chappelle, like pre-2016 Dave Chappelle. I'm so incredible. I'm sick with it. And the first time I can say I crushed was my first ever host weekend at the Comedy Club of Kansas City. I was opening for Greg Hahn. The fourth show, the first 3 shows were mediocre because I shouldn't have been hosting a show. I was not built ready for it. But the fourth show, I came out with like such insane high energy. And I went back and listened to that set recently. I was not saying anything good, but I was like so energetic and fun that they went with me anyway.
That rules.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Shit. Yeah, that was a good ass show.
I weirdly I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
I asked this question, but I don't have a and it's good to hear that you do. Yeah. I don't know.
So you just at some point you just started crushing?
I guess I started having shows where I was like, oh, I feel like I crushed that, but I can't tell you the first time. It's like impossible in my mind. I don't know.
Whenever I hit like new heights, I like kind of log it in my mind. Like I remember that one. I remember there was like a show where I did a guest spot. It might have been for Ron Funches. Like, it was like a guest spot at still the Comedy Club of Kansas City, where I like did all my best jokes, and I was like so energetic, and I was like really fucking hitting it, and I was like, this feels like incredible, and like I was like really, really on top of my game for like a second, and I was like, I hadn't done that before, and I think that's like, I think every time I do something where I'm like, oh, I don't think it's ever gone that well.
That's what's up.
I like catalog that. Acme Review, like last year, show hosted
That's a
by
great
good
show.
friend Julia Desmond.
She makes it. She made this shirt.
Great shirt.
Great
she
shirt.
rules. One of my favorite people. I remember I did her show last year, and like I think that was like the first time I like crushed in New York. And like I think I've had a couple of shows where I've reached that again, but I think that was like such an immaculate feeling. That's
the first time in a new scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sold out show, like with all my good friends, everybody who I love is like in the city is there.
That room could feel great too.
Yeah, I love the gutter.
Yeah, oh yeah. What's I thinking? Maybe you'll. Okay, I was wondering if maybe you could relate to this. I feel like, I don't know because I don't know if it's a one-liner thing, but probably not. Just the idea that if you're having a set where it's going like really well, there'll be like a point, maybe early on, where suddenly you can tell the entire crowd is dead silent and listening intently. And that's when I know I'm like crushing, because not necessarily because of the laughs, but because I'm like, oh, every single person in this entire room is like now paying attention in a way. I don't know.
No, yeah, I mean,
does that make sense?
You know, like the painting concept of like chiaroscuro, like a Renaissance thing. No, fair enough. It's like it's dumb that we've been
explain it,
but like it's like. If you ever look at like a Renaissance painting, like that's like really, really high contrast between like the light and the shadow and like how they play together. That's like how I think about like a really good set.
Laugh.
Where it's like
silence.
You get like
laugh.
Absolutely
silence.
Raucous laughter. Like the highs, the brightness is like so turned up to like 11. But then like you can take it down, and like when you're not at the punchline, you can tell they're still with every word, and that feels so great.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel that's the point where you can like tell like the jokes you love, because it's like if they don't like it, it's because like you might have messed up the execution, but like they're gonna really be with you.
Beautiful.
Like there's something really, I think not just from a comedy level, just like from a human level, there's something really beautiful about being fully heard.
Yeah. No. Wow. Yeah. Absolutely. No. I completely agree. And that's in those moments. That's when you can tell that's what's happening.
Yeah.
We're hitting an hour, by the way. And I think that's a beautiful note to end on.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask if you have anything you want to plug.
Yes. So,
have sex with Dorian,
please. Fuck me, please.
Take my wife and me at the same time.
Take us both.
She'll be wearing a dildo. Okay.
Hey. So I'd have an inaugural show for something that's going to be at Star Bar. It's called Smolder Comedy. That's tomorrow. The second one is going to be on April 26th, also at Star Bar, 8 o'clock. Buy tickets.
That's if you're in New York City.
If you're in New York City.
Yeah. Do you have anything to plug for a wider...
For a wider audience?
Yeah.
You can follow me on Instagram. I post some reels there. You can follow me on Twitter. I sometimes I get jokes off there. I mostly get off scalding hot political takes.
I like that, by the way. I've noticed. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed it sometimes on Twitter.
I saw you today going off.
I deleted those immediately. But because I have noticed that if I have a hot take, especially about comedy, I've noticed that you're receptive, and sometimes people actually reply or retweet, and so I think that's cool. I didn't see it. You get political on IG?
I mean, so before I did comedy, I was like a true story. I lost the remote to my high school television.
What?
And I couldn't change the channel, and it was on CNN for like 3 years.
Wait, what do you mean?
I like literally had a TV in my room.
Oh, a TV. I thought you meant in the high school.
Like,
you mean
when I was in high school, I had a TV in my room that was stuck on CNN for 3 years. So I was like a big political opinion.
That's so funny.
I had like so many Don Lemon opinions, so many Anderson Cooper opinions. I was like fucking locked in.
Yo, that's hilarious.
So now, like,
What the fuck?
I'm not as in politics now, but like I still care quite a bit. And I'm still like, I think a lot of the culture war stuff is dumb, but I don't think we get anything out of disengaging with it. So I think it's worth to be engaged on Twitter, especially when I see people fucking being stupid and I got something to say about it.
Oh yeah, I try to do. I think that comedy is like a useful tool that changes people's minds.
Yeah.
I've had my mind changed, so I'm like, okay, I know I can change all the people if I sharpen
Yeah,
the exact right idea, rhetoric, cube, smart. You know what I mean? I think just the most recent one I did that I didn't delete and I was happy about was it's just a joke, dude. And the joke is just rooted in ideas that I'm just reinforcing with like the imp emoji, and I was like happy about that. I just like
That's sharp. I love that.
Thank you, appreciate it. But I want to do more of those, but also like I don't know, it can feel a little. I don't want to be condescending, but I do think also that people are being bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, they're always like people be wilding out there.
Yeah.
Like what's crazy is like when you see like. I keep on seeing these people have like truly, truly awful takes online, and like somebody will be like, "Oh, they're clearly like joking or like baiting," and like you go and you look at the person's profile, it's like they're not.
Yeah, they're like a Nazi or something.
Yeah. It's like, or like they're always like being like playfully misogynist, and I'm like, you don't like women though.
That is something I've. Yeah. It's like you learn that like people are doing something ironically. And it's like, but the irony is just that they're not supposed to, as opposed to like
they're not being like I'm being a bad person who is bad and everybody hates me. They're being like, haha, I'm stepping over the line. It's like you're being a fucking hack.
Yep. God, that's goddamn right. Dorian,
respect women. Shout out to your mothers.
Shout out to everybody's mothers,
especially the single ones.
Shout out to Dr. Yakub. Shout out to the demons.
Love y'all. Thank you for having me, Benny.
Oh, thanks for coming on. What a pleasure.
This was a blast.
Bye.